प्रचोदयात्।
Good evening. Namaste, my dear friends. Jai Guru to all. Let us begin today's class on Patanjali's Yoga Sutras with a prayer. Let's make ourselves ready to give our love and to receive the Lord's wisdom and love. Let us pray together. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, friend, beloved God, Bhagwan Krishna, Jesus Christ, Mahavatar Babaji, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Shri Yukteswar Ji, beloved Gurudev Paramhansa Yogananda Ji, friend and guide Swami Kriyananda Ji, saints and sages of all religions, great sages Vedvyas, Maharshi Patanjali, Adi Shankaracharya, humbly we bow and touch thy feet. Beloved Lord, thou hast designed this life as a struggle for joy all along the way. Bless me that I may fight to win the battle on the very spot where I am now. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Let us invoke the presence of the Gurus. To bhaja Govindam means to be one with the Lord. Just like chanting Om means being one with the sound of Om. Chanting the name of the Lord truly means feeling the oneness with Him. Let us now do an affirmation, and before that, we hear a few thoughts by Swami Kriyananda on success. True success means transcendence. It means finding what we really want, which is not outward things, but inner peace of mind, self-understanding, and above all, the joy of God. Outward success means transcendence also. It means rising above past accomplishments to reach new levels of achievement. Success can mean accepting failure too, when such acceptance helps us to transcend a false ambition. Every failure, moreover, can be a stepping stone to highest achievement. Success should not be measured by the things accomplished, but by our increasing understanding, ability, and closeness to God. Let us do the following affirmation. I leave behind me both my failures and accomplishments. What I do today will create a new and better future filled with inner joy. I leave behind me both my failures and accomplishments. What I do today will create a new and better future filled with inner joy. I leave behind me both my failures and accomplishments. What I do today will create a new and better future filled with inner joy. Mentally follow this prayer. O Creator of galaxies and countless blazing stars, the power of the very universe is thine. May I reflect that power in the little mirror of my life and consciousness. Om, peace. Amen. So, dear friends, welcome again to today's class. And we begin with a story. And the story of today is the story of Mata Shabri from the Ramcharitmanas. We've all heard of the story, but let's hear a few more details of the story. And we will end with the teaching of Sri Ram to Shabri, the direct teaching about bhakti. So Shabri was born in a family of a hunter, and she was a very a happy child in herself. But sometimes her parents got confused because of her behavior, because she would be sometimes lost in herself, and she would be, be a devotional person, and she would want to love the Lord and look for Lord everywhere, and so on. The parents, as she grew up, all of this started to increase, and the parents were worried. So the hunter thought, okay, now she's grown up a bit, so let me marry this girl, and once she's married, she will have to kind of take on the worldly responsibilities, and she will become worldly wise, and so on. So this is the thought process going on, and the parents are talking to each other, and the father is supposedly fixing her marriage with someone, and she overhears all this conversation, and she literally just runs away from her house. And she has heard people talking about some rishis ashram in the forest a little away from her house. So she quietly just moves towards that ashram. She is able to reach the ashram, and this is the ashram of Rishi Matang. So she's a little girl, not very confident so far. So she just hankers around the ashram premises, and she starts to observe what the routine of the ashram is, what the monks do, and she's basically eating the fruits that fall off from the trees, and she just rests under the tree. So she sees that every day monks get up and they kind of just sweep the area, the whole premises is clean, and then they have their set of classes and Vedic chants and their own studies and sadhana. So she observes this for a while, and she thinks to herself that how can I help them, or how can I help myself and them, so that I also kind of get into this ashram. So what she starts to do is, even before, if the monks were up at 4 a.m., she starts to reach the ashram. She's around there, so she goes into the ashram at 3 a.m. approximately. We're just giving a rough time frame, and then she sweeps the entire premises before the monks get up. So for a few days, this keeps on happening, and the monks observe that they do not know how when they wake up in the morning, how the whole ashram is already clean. So they think that, okay, let's explore this, and let's see who is doing this for us. And they report the case also to Rishi Matang, and then of course they spy in the night, and they are able to catch this little girl who is sweeping the whole ashram, and they bring her to Rishi Matang. And Rishi Matang looks at her, and of course the great sages know the potential and the truth behind the person, and he is able to know who she is. And he asks her, what do you want? So she says, all I want is a corner in your ashram, and I want to be initiated by you. And Rishi Matang he's very happy with her, and he tells his monks to give her a place, a small room in the ashram, a small kutia, and then he also initiates her into the Rama mantra. And so Mata Shabri, she's still a little girl, so Shabri starts to live in the ashram. She does her day duties very, very diligently every day, cleaning the premises, and then she's serving the guru, and she's doing all her work. So over the years, as she's growing, her devotion is a lot, and Rishi Matang is very happy with her. So at the time when Rishi Matang is going to leave his body, and she asks for his blessings, and the Rishi says that your bhakti is so pure that your bhakti will not take you to the Lord, but it will bring the Lord to you. So you should go deeper into your bhakti, and you should just keep serving the Lord. So with these words, he leaves the body. So, and for Shabri, this is like the Guru mantra, and from that day onwards, every day she, besides cleaning the ashram, she picks up flowers from the forest, and she strews the whole path from the gate of the ashram till her kutia with flower petals. She picks up sweet fruits from the forest, and she sometimes tastes them also to make sure they are sweet. and she piles them up in her room every day a little bit, so that because she doesn't know when Lord Ram is going to come to her. But this is a promise of the sage, this is the promise of the guru, the Lord has to come to her. This she is certain of. And therefore, every day from that day onwards, she does that. And from a child to an adolescent to a lady, a mata in the ashram, she becomes an elderly lady, and with all her gray hair, and the spine is bending down, and all the features of old age are coming upon her, and she is still continuously doing the same thing. She's chanting Ramanama, she's decorating the whole path with rose petals or flower petals, she's picking up sweet fruits. Her eyes are waiting for the Lord and not flickering or wandering even for a day and even for a moment. She is just in wait of the Lord. And of course, as the story goes, we all know that the day arrives when Lord Ram and Lakshman, they come to visit the Matang ashram, and they know. And why has Lord Ram come there? He knows that there is this devotee waiting for him. He already knows it. And as Lord Ram comes, she just looks at him and she recognizes who he is, and she just runs to meet him at the gate, and she brings him in her kutia. And of course, she offers them fruits which she has always tasted and made sure are sweet. And she is just overwhelmed. She's crying, tears are falling from her eyes, her heart is it's overflowing with love. The mission of her life is getting completed, the promise is now true. And she's sitting there watching Lord Rama, and Lord Rama is also so pleased, having the fruits given to him by her, and just his very presence blessing her whole life. And then he speaks to Shabari and tells her how pleased he is with her. And then he describes to her the various steps of bhakti, and it is called Navavidha Bhakti, and this is given in the Ramcharitmanas as a specific instruction by Sri Ram to Shabari. So let us see what those steps are. Just like the yamas and the niyamas, it's not necessary that these steps are to be conducted in a stepwise manner. They can run parallelly, and anybody can do one of them or more of them. So the Navavidha Bhakti is, the first step is Sadhu Sanghat. So of course, the company of the holy saints, the company of holy sages. This cannot be replaced by anything else. We know, we have been taught that even a moment in the company of a saint can be your raft over the ocean of delusion. So one meeting with Rishi Matang and one promise from him made sure that Shabari would finally cross over the ocean and would meet her Lord. Step 2 is Gatha Shravanam, means hearing the divine pastimes and the attributes of the Lord, the qualities of the Lord. Now, when you hear the pastimes of the Lord, and you hear about his Leela, what happens is you're more curious about to know the Lord, you're more interested. It kind of fixes your mind towards the Lord, and it starts to clean up your mind. So this is also another important step. Step 3 is Tyaja Abhiman Guru Seva. Tyaja Abhiman means leaving your ego. Guru Seva, of course, we know, serve the Guru. So this will make one humble. And once we are humble, our heart is open, then the Guru can bless us in our open heart. He can give us a higher portion, a stronger portion of his grace to us, so that this can accelerate our evolution and motion towards the Lord. Step 4 is Nishkarma Gungan, means singing of the glories of the Lord with a pure mind. So again, this is like chanting, this is singing to the Lord. Again, what this does is, as you sing, your heart chakra, your throat chakra, your agya chakra, all of that, the upper chakras are usually involved. So your energy is raised, your heart is made open, your mind becomes more and more fixed. So basically, you're becoming a purer soul, and in which the Lord can abide in a better way. Step 5 is Vishvasa Japa Nirantar, means with deep faith in the Lord, continuous chanting. And this has the power to magnetize the Lord towards oneself. So japa has enough value. We already know. We've heard about this in the Indian scriptures. We've seen our grandparents and all, with the mala and taking the name of the Lord again and again, day in and day out, without ceasing. So of course, this is coming from the scriptures, and it is a sign of spiritual progress that when we can have only one thought and leave aside all the other thoughts, then that means we are progressing, because once we are left with only one thought, even that thought can be dropped. Step 6 is Indriya Nigraha Charit Ujjwal. Indriya Nigraha means control of the senses. Once you control your senses and the moral behavior basically increases, then automatically your charit becomes ujjwal, means your character becomes lighted up, and you become a light to the world, and you become clean and pure, and therefore again you are able to reflect the Lord through yourself more. Step 7 is Seva Madhyat Jag Ramamay. This means seeing the Lord in all creation and serving the Lord, giving up the ego completely. And this is was said to be one of the signs of your spiritual progress, that when you're able to see the Lord in everything and everyone, then you become advanced. And this is a sign of kind of, you are expanding into omnipresence. So even whatever situation may come, you see the Lord's hand behind it. Then you are able to understand that yes, everything is being created by the Lord, it is being run by the Lord, and will dissolve back into the Lord. Step 8, Santosha Nirdosha Man. This means practicing contentment and having an innocent mind faculty, a mind which cannot find fault with the others. And why can it not find fault with others? Because once it knows that everything is the Lord, then finding fault with anything would mean that you are finding fault with the Lord. So such a pure mind and heart is so much in love with the Lord, and it is our experience in life that although our human love is in a limited sense part of the divine love, but we find that whenever we love someone, then we are unable to see faults with that person. We only like that person. We can only love that person. So similarly, when our heart and mind is so pure, then we cannot find fault with anything or anyone of this world, because we know that this world is coming from the Lord. It is made up of the Lord. Step 9 is Saralata va Nishchal Vyavhar. So again, an extension of the Nirdosh Man is simplicity and straightforward behavior, a spontaneous childlike behavior. And this automatically comes to saints and sages, because some people think that the saints and sages are madmen, but they are so simple and childlike, they're so innocent, that because they have nothing to complain about, they can feel the Lord in every atom of space. They are lost in their own bliss, that other people are unable to recognize this. But this is a step towards God realization. So even if you don't feel contented right now, it is our duty to practice conscious contentment and to tell ourselves that, this is what God has given me, and I have come here on this earth not to get these little things or people in my life, but I have come here to realize that I am a part of that infinite. So whenever your mind wanders in things and in people, bring it back by practicing conscious contentment. Take it in towards the right direction, towards bhakti, towards japa, towards guru seva, and all of that which has been mentioned by Sri Ram. And then we will, like Mother Shabri, we will also be able to meet with the Lord. And the beautiful thing, after finishing the discourse, Ram says to Shabri that if anybody practices one of these steps, the grace of the Lord falls upon him. And if anybody practices all the 9, then the Lord is brought to the devotee, just like I have come to you. So our Guru has taught us to follow all these things to whatever degree or grade we are able to follow. But we are in some way or the other practicing all these 9 steps. And it is the promise of the Lord that if a devotee with, of course, a sincere heart and openness will practice all these 9 things, then the Lord will come to the devotee. And after this discourse, Shabri bows down to the Lord and she says, I will not watch you go away in front of my eyes. Before you go away, you have to bless me so that I leave this mortal frame. And I will go away in front of you and not you in front of me. So Lord Rama blesses her and she goes into Mahasamadhi at that time. So she leaves her mortal frame in the presence of the Lord. And it is only after that that the Lord moves out of her kutia. So kutia, in a sense, actually for us is our body only. But all of these Puranic stories, all these historical stories, all of these are guidelines, are guideposts for us to know that deep faith in the Lord and purity of heart will bring the Lord in. The Lord is already actually in our heart, but his presence will be exposed. The hide and seek that he is playing with us, of he's hiding in our heart and not telling us, because we are busy with our own desires and attachments. So when we follow this path of bhakti and one pointedness, then all the veils and all of that is removed, and we find that the Lord is right there in our own heart. And then with that satisfaction, that is the realization we are here for. Once that happens, the mortal frame, whether it stays or it doesn't stay, it doesn't matter. You have achieved the goal of life. The body has solved the purpose for which it was created, and then you can shed the mortal frame at will if the Guru wants it in that way. Okay, so with that, it's a beautiful story and a beautiful teaching. With that, we come to our Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, which tend to be more often appealing to the intellect somehow, and they are very, very scientific. He just places the facts in front of on the table, and he wants you to analyze, understand, and to digest all of that. Okay, so in the last class, what Patanjali was explaining to us in the various sutras was the difference between the drashta and the drashya. Drashta is the observer and drashya is what is seen. And he was saying that it is because we confuse the drashta and the drashya to be one, therefore we are always in trouble. And a wise person can see that these are two different things. This is Purusha and Prakriti, and that they are separate. And once you are able to see that, for a person, for a yogi who is able to know that these are separate things, then that person is free of delusion. But in the last time, the verse we did, he said, but for the rest of the people, the delusion still stays. It stays. For them, pain and pleasure and everything is still real. But only for the person who, with the sword of discrimination and the yogic practices and bhakti, has been able to cut asunder the veil of delusion which separates him from of his infinite nature, and which makes him involved in worldly games, that he is able to cut away and he is able to see the truth. Okay. And then, of course, Patanjali also said in one of the verses that all of this game has been created for the experience of the drashta. So for the creator has created all of this experience for himself, and he is playing the game through each one of us. And as we said last time, he is the director, the producer, the screenplay writer, the lyricist, the composer, the musician, the actor, as well as the audience. So he is one and all. So he is Ramamay, and it is up to us to be able to see that everything is the Lord. Okay. So now we read Sutra 23. Swa Swami Sakteho Swarup Upalabdhi Hetu Samyogya. Iska kya arth hai? Swa is our own nature, Swami is master, Sakteho of the forces of the two, Swarup is own form, Upalabdhi means obtaining the realization, Hetu is for the purpose of, Samyogya is conjunction. So इसमें उसी thought process को दृष्टा और दृश्य के thought process को आगे बढ़ाते हुए पतंजलि कहते हैं, the seen and the seer unite samyog for the purpose of experience and realization. So firstly, the drashta himself has separated himself into two, isn't it? He has divided himself into two. And why he has done that? So that there is experience of this world, and then the same thing can be used for realization of the truth. When the soul comes into conjunction with the nature, Both the power of the soul and the power of nature manifest in this conjunction, and all the various manifestations are thrown out. Ignorance is the cause of this conjunction. We see every day that the cause of our own pain or pleasure is always joining ourselves with the body. Now, this is a very, very important statement. If I was, now consider this situation, if we were perfectly certain that we are not this body, then we will not take any notice of any heat or cold or any pain in the painful sensation in the body or any excitement created by any sense pleasure. So the truth is that this body is a fiction. It's the truth of the scripture. So if we don't realize it yet, that doesn't mean that the teaching is false. Okay, so the teaching is true. It says it is a fiction when we say that I am this, and I say you are this, and I say the sun is this, the earth is this, the trees, this is all a fiction. This is only a projection. Just like the light coming from a projection booth is creating certain images on the screen, and it actually, you cannot hold it, and actually the things are not happening, but yet it appears so real. So this is, the world is like that, a projection, and it is true to the five senses. Okay, Swami Kriyananda ji says, the identity of the owner with that which he owns gives his possession power over him. He thinks them part of himself. So Swamiji takes it into a very, very practical level. And he says that जब एक ओनर अपनी जो चीजें हैं उनसे इतना ज्यादा कॉन्जॉइंट हो जाता है, तो वो अपनी चीजों को ही एज एक्सटेंशन ऑफ हिमसेल्फ समझने लगता है. जैसे कि हम कहने लगते हैं ये घर अलग चीज है, लेकिन हम कहते हैं ये मेरा घर है. लोग हैं अपने इंडिविजुअलिटी में एग्जिस्ट करते हैं, लेकिन हम कहते हैं ये मेरे रिश्तेदार हैं, ये मेरे फ्रेंड्स हैं, ये मेरी नौकरी है, ये मेरे पैसे हैं. तो यहाँ पर जो आइडेंटिटी है ओनर की, ओन्ड से या सीयर की सीन से इतनी ज्यादा बन जाती है कि वो अपने आप को उससे अलग देख ही नहीं पाता. जो दृष्टा है वो दृश्य से अपने आप को अलग देख ही नहीं पाता, तो वो अपनी वो माइक जाल में, वो डिल्यूजन में ही जीता रहता है. और जब उसकी पोजेशन को कोई भी हानि पहुंचती है, चाहे वो पर्सन है, चाहे वो चीज है, तो वो अपने आप को पेन में महसूस करता है. और ये सिर्फ इस फिक्शन की वजह से है कि वो ये नहीं समझ पा रहा कि वो एक सब्जेक्टिव विटनेस कॉन्शियसनेस है, ना ही वो चीजों में, उसके प्राण उन चीजों में नहीं है. किसी भी चीज की वैल्यू अपने आप में कुछ भी नहीं है, उसकी वैल्यू हम उसको प्रदान करते हैं. जो लोग, अब कोई एक पर्टिकुलर, आपने अपना आईफोन खरीद लिया और आप उससे इतने अटैच हो गए, तो आईफोन इटसेल्फ इज जस्ट एन ऑब्जेक्ट. लेकिन आप अगर उसके टूटने पर आपको दुख हो रहा है, तो ये प्रॉब्लम आईफोन की बिल्कुल भी नहीं है. आईफोन ने बिल्कुल नहीं कहा था कि जब मैं टूटूंगा तो तुम रोना, उसने नहीं कहा था. लेकिन आपने ये कहा था कि ये मेरा आईफोन है, मैंने पैसे, मेरे पैसे, मेरा आईफोन टूट गया, अब तो मैं दुखी हूं. तो सारी प्रॉब्लम कहाँ से शुरू हुई? आईफोन से नहीं, किसी भी ऑब्जेक्ट से नहीं शुरू हुई है, आपके खुद की अपनी समझ से शुरू हुई है. आपने इतनी वैल्यू अपनी डाल दी, अपनी हैप्पीनेस को उससे इतना ज्यादा जोड़ दिया कि जब वो टूटा तो आपको दुख हुआ. इसी तरह लोगों से भी आप इतनी, उनको वैल्यू जितनी आप देते हो उतनी ही आपको बाद में परेशानी होती है. आप वैल्यू देते हो, उनको अपना समझते हो, उनसे एक्सपेक्टेशन रखते हो, और ये तो कभी पूरी होती नहीं है. तो क्योंकि आपने अपनी हैप्पीनेस को कंडीशन करके उनको उस चीज में या उस पर्सन में डाला, और वो टूटी, जो कि होना ही था, विच इज द वे ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. तो आपका दिल टूटा, पर प्रॉब्लम आप ही ने क्रिएट करी थी, क्योंकि आपने उसमें अपने इमोशंस, थॉट्स और एक्सपेक्टेशंस डिपॉजिट करे थे, जो कि आपको नहीं करने थे. क्योंकि आप तो एक विटनेस कॉन्शियसनेस, यू हैव कम टू सी दिस गेम ऑफ लाइफ. You had not to forget that this is just a role play. Okay, if you do not forget that you are just playing a part of a father, of a mother, of a brother, sister, spouse, then if you forget that you are playing, तो आप बहुत रोओगे. और ये अपने आप को निरंतर याद कराने से कि I am not to take life so seriously. Let me step back a little and watch what is happening. I just went to a Gurdwara once, and they were playing this Bani, which I always remember, and it said, मैं हूं परम पुरख का दासा, वेखन आया जगत तमाशा. सो ये बात हमें याद करनी है, ट्रूथ है. गुरु ग्रंथ साहब का ने, नानक जी ने कहा है ये, परम पुरख का दासा, बिकॉज आई एम पार्ट ऑफ परम पुरख. परम पुरख इज पुरुषा, एंड वेखन आया जगत तमाशा. तो इसमें ये भी डिक्लेरेशन है कि ये पूरा जगत तमाशा ही है. और मैं विटनेस हूँ, देखन आया, मैं देखने आया हूँ। अब प्रॉब्लम कहाँ आ जाती है कि मेला देखने तो आए थे, लेकिन उसमें इतना ज्यादा दिल लगा लिया कि कभी कोई रंग पसंद आया, कभी कोई झूला पसंद आया, कभी कपड़े पसंद आ गए, कभी लोग, भूल ही गए कि कहाँ से आए थे और मेला देख के वापस जाना था। मेले में ही उलझ गए और कई जन्म हमने इस मेले में गुजार दिए। और इतना दुख, उम्मीद थी सुख की लेकिन पाया दुख। और दुख पाने के बाद भी यदि हम ये समझ जाएं कि ये मेला भी एक गेम ही है तो बहुत अच्छी बात है। और अगर नहीं समझना है अपने, तो फिर मेले में घूमते रहो, भगवान को कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। He has given you the free choice, the free will and eternity to play with his games. Okay. So next sutras, we come to sutra number 24. Patanjali says, Tasya hetur vidya, means the extension of the previous sutra, means all of this happens because of ignorance. अविद्या के कारण यही कंफ्यूजन हो रही है कि हम ऑब्जर्वर जो है वो अपने आप को ऑब्जेक्ट्स, सीन ऑब्जेक्ट्स के साथ एक मान रहा है और उसी से ही उसकी मिजरी का कारण बन रहा है. दिस इज ऑल बिकॉज ऑफ इग्नोरेंस. थ्रू इग्नोरेंस वी हैव जॉइंड आवरसेल्फ विद अ पर्टिकुलर बॉडी and thus opened ourselves to misery. तो हम ये सोचते हैं कि हम, जो बॉडी की बाउंड्री हमारी यहाँ तक है, हम केवल इसके अंदर हैं. जो इस बॉडी की लिमिट्स के बाहर है वो हम नहीं है, वो कुछ और है, वो तो स्पेस है, वो तो ऑब्जेक्ट्स हैं, वो तो और लोग हैं. अब ये दिस इज अ डिल्यूजन. और ये डिल्यूजन सिर्फ मेडिटेशन से ही टूटती है. कोई आसान तरीका नहीं है. आप अपने लॉजिकल माइंड से इस डिल्यूजन को तोड़ ही नहीं सकते हो. जितना मर्जी कैलकुलेशन कर लो, एडवांस मैथमेटिक्स सीख लो, फिजिक्स का एटॉमिक स्ट्रक्चर से भी सब एटॉमिक पार्टिकल्स में चले जाओ, बायोलॉजी के सब सेलुलर स्ट्रक्चर्स में चले जाओ, या जो मर्जी कर लो, जितना मर्जी कैलकुलस सीख लो, ये डिल्यूजन आपकी टूटेगी ही नहीं. आपको अभी भी, हम सब यहाँ जितने बैठे हैं, हम यही सोचते हैं कि हम जहां तक हमारी बॉडी की सीमा है हम उसके अंदर हैं, एंड दैट्स इट. एंड दिस इज अ डिल्यूजन, because the truth is that we as the Atman are formless awareness. And this body, Ramana Maharshi said, don't think that you are in the body. Think and know that the body is in you. And this has been said by great, even Western philosophers like John Moore. He said, I was once reading his poem and he had written in that poem that don't think that the sun shines upon you. The sun shines in you. Don't think that the river flows beside you. It flows through you. So this is the truth, that we are formless existence. We are formless, pure witness awareness. And that we are right now, we are functioning through this body. इस मेले को का फन पाने के लिए हम इस शरीर का हमने गारमेंट धारण करा हुआ है. लेकिन हम इसमें इतना ज्यादा उलझ गए हैं. और जो डेटा सेंसिस से आ रहा है, सपोज आप एक रोबोट की बॉडी पहन लो और आप सालों सालों तक उसकी बॉडी पहने रखो और उसी की फिंगर से काम करने लगो. कई सालों बाद आपको ये लगने लगेगा, आप भूल जाओगे कि आप असली में कौन थे, क्योंकि रोबोट की छोटी छोटी वो मोरी वाली आंखों से ही आप देखोगे दुनिया को, उसी के वो मेटालिक हैंड से ही आप काम करोगे. और कई वर्षों तक ऐसा निरंतर करने के बाद आपको लगने लगेगा आप वही हो. आप क्योंकि भूल गए हो कि आप ओरिजिनली तो कुछ और थे. तो इसी तरह क्योंकि कई जन्मों से हम ये शारीरिक एग्जिस्टेंस में हैं और हम ये कंडीशन हो जाते हैं इस वर्ल्ड में आते ही अपने सेंसेस से वर्क करना, तो हम अपने आप को लिमिट कर लेते हैं एक ही बॉडी से, और यही हमारी मिजरी का कारण है. इसके लिए हमें विड्रॉ करना पड़ेगा. विड्रॉ करने के लिए, सेंसेस से विड्रॉ करने के लिए क्या टेक्निक है? प्राणायाम, मेडिटेशन. साइंटिफिक टेक्निक्स पतंजलि ने दी हुई है, हम आगे बात करेंगे, अपने अष्टांग योगा की बात करेंगे. हमें ऑलरेडी ऑन द पाथ ऑफ क्रिया योगा वी हैव ऑलरेडी बीन गिवन दिस. If we withdraw the energy going down from the spine and into the senses, उसको हम withdraw कर लें, अपनी एनर्जी को सेंटर्ड रखें, तभी हम जान पाएंगे. जब हम सेंसेस से विड्रॉ करेंगे तभी हम जान पाएंगे कि एक सिक्स्थ सेंस और एग्जिस्ट करती है और हम तो कुछ और ही हैं. तो इसीलिए जितने भी मेडिटेटर्स यहाँ बैठे हैं, अगर वो सोचते हैं कि अभी हमें नहीं समझ आया है, तो प्लीज इंक्रीज योर मेडिटेटिव प्रैक्टिस. Please increase the various steps of bhakti that we talked about earlier in this class, the teachings of Sri Ram given to Shabri. If you practice any one of those with your fullest concentration and with an open heart, तो ये होके रहेगा. ये क्योंकि यही हमारी नियति, हम यही तो जानने आए हैं, क्योंकि हम एक्चुअली है ही वो आत्मन, हम है ही इन्फिनिट. लेकिन हम अभी सोच रहे हैं कि हम ये शरीर हैं. तो ये हमारी गलत फहमी है. इस गलतफहमी को दूर करने के लिए क्या है? ज्ञान. अंधेरा को दूर कौन करता है? रोशनी. इसी तरह इग्नोरेंस को क्या दूर करता है? नॉलेज. तो जब ये नॉलेज आएगी थ्रू द स्क्रिप्चर्स, थ्रू द टीचिंग्स ऑफ द ग्रेट वंस, तो हमारे अंदर जो अंधेरा है वो इग्नोरेंस का चला जाएगा, और फिर हम समझ जाएंगे कि हम तो इन्फिनिट एग्जिस्टेंस है, वी आर ओमनी प्रेजेंट, we are omniscient, we are omnipotent, we have only forgotten for some time. But don't worry, with the grace of the Guru, we will reawaken, we will wake up from this dream, and it is going to happen to each one of us sooner or later. So just like Shabri, be ready for that moment, pave the way for the Lord, strew the flowers that she, the whole path she decorated. What is that path we're talking about? We're talking of the astral spine. If you do your kriyas regularly, then it cleanses your astral spine and it paves the way for the Lord. But you have to do you every day. In the first chapter, Patanjali said that all your practice have to be unceasing, without a break. If you do that, then the Lord has to appear to you. It is the Lord's promise. Whether we take up the Bhagavad Gita, in which Krishna promises to his devotee that my devotee will never be lost, or we talk of the Ramcharitmanas, Ramayana, where Ram says to the Bhakta that I will come. So this promise stands true for us. We are all devotees, we are all seekers, we want the truth, and we are not going to settle for less. You have to decide for yourself कि ये ड्रीम वर्ल्ड में ही जीना है या जागना है. एक बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट चॉइस है. अगर कोई कहे कि मैं ना आपको इस जीवन में मैं आपको मिलियनियर बना दूंगा, बिलियनियर बना दूंगा, मैं आपको बहुत बड़ा घर दूंगा और सर्वेंट्स होंगे, आपको कोई काम नहीं करना पड़ेगा, आपको बस रिलैक्स करना होगा, आपके बहुत सुंदर सुंदर लोग होंगे आसपास, सुंदर जगह होगी, एंड यू विल बी जस्ट हैविंग फन एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट, आई विल मेक यू द किंग ऑफ अ किंगडम, बट I will give all of this in a dream. Versus, do you want to wake up really? So हम क्या है, हम इस ड्रीम, जो हमारी डिजायर्स और अटैचमेंट है, ये स्वप्न की दुनिया की है. दिस इज अ ड्रीम वर्ल्ड. और इतनी सारी जो इतनी प्रोमिसेस हैं इस माया की, आप बताओ आपको क्या चाहिए इस दुनिया से? यही और चीजें चाहिए? वही पैसा, वही रिलेशन, वही ह्यूमन लव की क्रेविंग और वही सब ही चाहिए, या इस ड्रीम से जागना है? क्योंकि जब जाग जाओगे तो सब जो भी अंधकार है वो मिट जाएगा, सारी मिजरी सडनली खत्म हो जाएगी. It just happens like a snap. And then once you have that experience, you will want to deepen it till it becomes nirvikalpa samadhi, means 24/7. So ये डिसाइड हमने करना है कि हम इसी दुनिया के मेले में भागते रहेंगे इधर उधर, या हम रुकेंगे और हम गुरु को कॉल करेंगे और हम मेडिटेटिव प्रैक्टिस से अपनी एनर्जी जो हम इस दुनिया में इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं उसको हम विड्रॉ करेंगे, अपने सेंटर में रखेंगे और फिर उसी एनर्जी को हम ऑफर करेंगे, रास्ता बनाएंगे ताकि भगवान हमारे पास आ सके. वहीं बैठे हैं, मतलब हम भगवान के पास जा सकें, एक ही बात है. सो द डिसीजन लाइज विद अस. ओके, इट इज आवर बिजनेस टू राइज अबव दिस सुपरस्टिशन दैट आई एम द बॉडी, एंड द योगी शोज अस हाउ वी कैन डू दैट. The scientific practice of yoga can help us to permanently attain that separation of the self and the body. तो जो दृष्टा और दृश्य की डिफरेंस है वो हमेशा योगिक प्रैक्टिस, एक योगी हमेशा समझता है. Okay. सूत्र 25. तद अभावात संयोग अभावः हानम तद दृश्य कैवल्यम. इसका क्या अंतर मतलब है? सो स्वामी विवेकानंद की कमेंट्री पहले कर पढ़ेंगे, फिर स्वामी कृष्णानंदा जी की. सो विवेकानंद सेज, देयर बीइंग एब्सेंस ऑफ दैट इग्नोरेंस, देयर इज एब्सेंस ऑफ द जंक्शन व्हिच इज टू बी अवॉइडेड, एंड दिस इज द इंडिपेंडेंस ऑफ द सीयर. सो व्हाट इज बीइंग सेड हियर इज कि जब वो अविद्या हमारी हट जाती है, जब इग्नोरेंस हट जाती है, तो जो जॉइनिंग ऑफ द ऑब्जेक्ट एंड द पर्सन हु सीइंग, द सीयर एंड द सीन, वो हम अलग कर पाते हैं, योगी अलग कर पाता है. और इससे क्या होता है, जो सीयर है वो इंडिपेंडेंट हो जाता है, जो ऑब्जर्वर है वो इंडिपेंडेंट हो जाता है. वो अब ये नहीं समझता कि मैं ये सेंसेस हूं, मैं ये शरीर हूं, मैं ये माइंड बॉडी कॉम्प्लेक्स हूं. वो अलग हो जाता है. ही कैन स्टैंड अपार्ट, ही कैन बी त्रिगुण रहितम, ही कैन बी विटनेस ऑफ एवरीथिंग, ही कैन गो बियॉन्ड कॉज एंड इफेक्ट. और इसीलिए इट इज सेड दैट the moment you start to identify yourself with the observer or with the Atman, you are free in that instant. This is how Gyan frees you in an instant, that you know that you are right now. The problem is we are identified with one body, one personality, one mind, intellect, and so the chitta complex. Once we withdraw from that and we know that we are, everywhere, we are infinite, then the seer is free, independent. Then it needs nothing. No more is to be gained. And that's what the Gita also says. Gita says, having which no gain is greater. So once the seer, the Atman, is freed from its false identification with the body-mind complex, it is free. And it is ignorance that hides it. Okay. Through ignorance, the soul has been joined with nature, means Purusha with Prakriti. The idea is to get rid of nature's control over us. Each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest that divinity within by controlling both the internal and external nature. You may do this by work, that is karma yoga, by worship, or that is bhakti yoga, by psychic control, that is yoga, the meditative Raja yoga, or by philosophy, that is jnana yoga. Until we can free ourselves from the external nature, we are slaves. As she dictates, so we must do. The yogi who can control the mind can control matter. Therefore, he who controls inner nature controls the whole universe. And this we have read, that if you can be, once you're one with the dreamer. Now God is the dreamer of the universe and we are part of him. Once we realize our identity with the Lord, then we can be part of the dreamer. We are the dreamer then. And then we can create whatever we want. It is that the stories of Brahma Rishis like Vashishta and Vishwamitra, all of them, we know they created multiverses, they could create galaxies because they were one with the dreamer. And one with the dreamer, kaise banoge? Again, it comes back to the practices that we already know, that the Guru has already given us. But we are falling short of practicing them, to the best of our ability. Sutra 26. Vivek khatir aviplave hana upaya, meaning unfluctuating discriminatory wisdom is the means and method of nullification of ignorance and the way to liberation. So पहले पतंजलि ने हमें सारी प्रॉब्लम्स बताई हैं कि कैसे ऑब्जर्वर और जो ऑब्जर्व्ड है वो एक हो जाते हैं, और ये हमारी इग्नोरेंस की वजह से होता है. अब इसका सोल्यूशन भी बता रहे हैं कि कैसे हम उसको डिस्क्रिमिनेटरी विजडम से कैसे उनको हम सेपरेट रख सकते हैं और इससे हम फ्री रह सकते हैं. ये हमें लिबरेशन तक लेके जाएगा. Discrimination between the seer and the seen is the goal of yogic or Vedantic practice. We must understand that Purusha is not nature. It is neither matter nor mind, and that because it is not nature, it cannot possibly change. So हमने ये पढ़ा है कि Purusha is changeless, और it is Prakriti which is changing and not the Purusha. So कहीं ना कहीं हम यहाँ जितने भी लोग बैठे हैं, हमारी bodies, when we were born, there were little bodies, the bodies changed in nature, body बड़ी हो गई, adolescent phase में उसमें अपने changes आए, फिर अब aging के साथ और different changes आ रहे हैं. पर क्या ये सच है कि आपको कहीं ना कहीं deep inside लगता है कि यार मैं तो वही हूँ, मैं तो वैसा ही feel करता हूँ? It's just the changing, means I am still enthusiastic about life, but sometimes my body is not cooperating with me because of its age. The things that I could do when my body was, a child, then I still want to do those things, but my body is not cooperating. Thus telling yourself that I am not the body. What I feel inside is not what the body is. So क्या कभी को आप में से किसी को भी एहसास आया है कि हाँ body change हो रही है, but मैं कहीं ना कहीं I'm a separate thing and I can watch the changes, and but on the inside I am the same. So if anybody would like to share the experiences regarding this, have you ever felt such a thing? If yes, please share your thoughts.
I think this is just similar to what Anandamayi Ma told. I am just the same. So sometimes, yes, you do have this feeling. More so when you are meditating, more so when you're meditating, at that time your body is not keeping, there is some pain, etc. This type of thoughts do come at that time for me.
Yes, thank you, Vijayji, for pointing out. This is what Ma Anandamayi said. She said When I was born, I was the same. When I grew as a child, I was still the same. When my parents married this body to another man, I was still the same. When I lived as his wife, but I was still the same. And today also I'm still the same. So she's talking about her changeless self. And on the screen of the changeless self, all the changes of the body and mind are happening. It's like the deep grave ocean, and the waves, the body, mind, personality are the waves on the ocean. So this is one thing. If we withdraw from the senses, we will be able to feel that in ourselves, that yes, especially in meditation, in the stillness after Kriya, we feel that, oh, I'm not the body. The body consciousness drops away. The body is, with closed eyes, the body is just a thought and no more. And then you know that you are not this, you are that. And that is why meditation is so important, because it gives you the direct experience of the changeless reality that you are. And our duty is, once we have experienced it, even to a meager amount, our duty is to deepen that experience, to know always that we are that changes reality, and the change is just happening over us, and we should just in a detached way, we should watch all those waves playing on the bosom of our existence. And not, we are not those waves, we are the water, we are pure existence, we are pure consciousness, the changeless witness. And it is formless, it is unlimited, it is infinite, there is no time and space in it. So ever since creation was, we existed before creation. We exist while creation is happening. When this creation will be, it will be reabsorbed into the absolute, we will still be there as the absolute. So we are the absolute reality, just playing a temporary role play. Do not forget that. Okay. Swami Kriyananda says, uninterrupted conscious discrimination is the best method for penetrating the veil of ignorance. It is not enough to be discriminating only while meditating or while facing life's problem when one is calm. One must be discriminating also in the whirl of life's most intense activities. To do this, keep the heart's feeling flowing upwards towards the spiritual eye, and keep the energy in the brain focused at the point between the eyebrows. So now Swamiji is telling us that how to practice discriminatory wisdom. So he's saying, चाहे आप एक calm circumstance में हो, चाहे आप meditation कर रहे हो, चाहे आप whirlpool of activity में हो, the more you are focused here at the spiritual eye, the more discrimination you will have, because this is the point of discriminatory wisdom. The more your energy is flowing towards it, especially from the heart, because the heart tends to have emotions and feelings about every situation. So if in the midst of that, if you just take a moment, take a pause, take a deep breath, raise the energy in the heart chakra through the throat and focus at the spiritual eye, and just calm yourself for a moment, you will be able to make better decisions. And not just better decisions for how to, move around in this dream life, but to know that this is my final way of exit. Okay. So whenever you are faced with a choice, ask yourself, after you focus here, ask yourself, what shall I do? And at the end of each day, go through everything you did that day and ask yourself, which side won today? My good soldiers or my bad? So here he's combining the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. Such constant conscious exercise of discrimination is essential if one would break out this prison of delusion. Sutra 27. Okay, this is a bit long, but we'll finish this today. So it says, Tasya saptadha pranta bhumi pragya, meaning this knowledge or his knowledge is the sevenfold highest ground. So ये जो एक बार कह रहे हैं कि ignorance का क्या तोड़ है, knowledge. अब वो knowledge भी है, एकदम तो आती नहीं है overnight. So धीरे धीरे आपकी जो concepts और precepts हैं, ये सब change होते हैं as you go on the path of Jnana Yoga, as you move towards God and the Gurus. You kind of, there are certain things that you start they change in us, and you can observe certain levels. Some levels that are mentioned here we are yet to achieve, but to start with, these are the things that we should aspire for. So these are the steps given to us, that eventually not only we will reach there eventually, but these are guideposts that if we start to practice today, will take us to the goal. So what are these? When knowledge comes, it will come as it were in 7 grades, one after the other. And when one of these has begun, we may know that we are getting knowledge. So the first step, first we'll give this, the same ways are given by Swami Vivekananda and Swami Kriyananda. But just to enjoy the flavor of both, we'll just enlist them separately. So by first Swami Vivekananda's, the first to appear will be that we have known what is to be known. It is said that, you know, जब हम समाधि स्टेट या हम एक फ्रीडम गेन कर लेंगे तो क्या होगा? तो आप ये कहा गया है, then you will know what is to be known. You have already worked what is there to work for, and you have gained whatever there is to be gained in this world. तो वो पॉइंट है जब आपको समझ आएगा, आपको लगेगा कि जो मैंने करना था, जो इस शरीर का पर्पस था, वो सॉल्व हो गया है. उसके बाद ये नहीं है कि आप अपने ड्यूटीज निभाना बंद कर दोगे, लेकिन आपको अंदर से आपके दिल को पता होगा कि हाँ, मैं ये रियलाइजेशन के लिए ही जन्मा था. और अब इसके बाद तो जैसे साधु संत हैं या जितने गुरुज हैं, उनको पता होता है कि वो किस काम के लिए आए हैं, वो ऑलरेडी फ्री होते हैं. इसी तरह हमारी डेवोटी की लाइफ में भी ऐसा होता है कि एक पॉइंट आता है, उसको पता होता है कि ओके, नाउ आई फुलफिल्ड द पर्पस, आई हैव रियलाइज्ड, and then he keeps doing for the outward world, he keeps doing those activities. बट वही पॉइंट है, वो सारे अपने कार्य कर चुका है, उसको जो जानना था वो जान चुका है, उसने जो पाना था वो उसने पा लिया है. ठीक है. So the mind will cease to be dissatisfied. जितनी भी अनफुलफिलमेंट और डिससैटिस्फैक्शन इस दुनिया की, वो सब खत्म हो जाएगी जब ये डिग्री हम पा लेंगे. When we are thirsting after knowledge, we begin to seek here and there, wherever we think we can get some truth. And failing to find it, we become dissatisfied. तो हम बहुत सारी किताबें भी पढ़ते हैं, हम बहुत सीख करते हैं, और हमें को सेटिस्फैक्शन नहीं होती कि हमें अभी फाइनल ट्रूथ मिला है कि नहीं. ये हमें सभी डेवोटीज की एक आम दशा है. दिस इज द स्टेट ऑफ बीइंग फॉर मेनी ऑफ अस. All search is vain until we begin to perceive that the knowledge is within ourselves, that no one can help us, that we must help ourselves. So yes, the Guru is there, but he will not walk the path with you. He has shown you the direction, he has shown you the path, he has shown you the CD on which to walk, but you have to walk it on your own. अब आप चलते हो, कितनी तेज चलते हो, कितनी यर्निंग से चलते हो, ये सब आपकी मर्जी है. आपको बता दिया गया है कहाँ जाना है और कैसे जाना है. अब जाना है नहीं जाना है तो आप पर है, आपको प्यास लगी या नहीं लगी है तो आप पर है. पानी तो आपके सामने दिखा दिया है कि यहाँ पानी अवेलेबल है और यहाँ से पी सकते हो, और यहाँ से पियोगे तो तृप्त हो जाओगे. लेकिन अगर आप कहोगे कि मुझे तो प्यास ही नहीं है तो बैठे रहो, फिर नहीं है तो ना सही. सो इसी तरह गुरु ने हमें रास्ता दिखा दिया है, क्या करना है बता दिया है, फाइनल गोल भी एक्सप्लेन कर दिया है, पर उस मार्ग पर चलना ये हमारी ड्यूटी है. When we begin to practice the power of discrimination, the first sign that we are getting near truth will be that the dissatisfied state will vanish. You will not be dissatisfied anymore. We shall be quite sure that we have found the truth and that it cannot be anything else but the truth. Then we may know that the sun is rising, that the morning is breaking for us, and taking courage, we must persevere until the goal is reached. So what in the first step is Swami ji is pointing out कि सभी कल्प समाधि का जो फर्स्ट स्टेज आपको फील होगा और आपको पता चल जाएगा क्या है, पर वो मोमेंट्री हो सकता है. तो उसके बाद भी आपका एफर्ट्स और बढ़ना चाहिए, क्योंकि जब तक निर्विकल्प समाधि नहीं आता, यानी कि 24/7 ये स्टेट में हम नहीं समझ जाते कि हम इन्फिनिट कॉन्शियसनेस हैं, तब तक फॉल का रिस्क हमेशा रहता है, तब तक डिल्यूजन हमेशा एक्ट करती रहती है. तो उसके बाद भी हमारा एफर्ट जो है वो कंटिन्यू करता रहना चाहिए. Second step, the second grade will be that all the pain will be gone. Now that you have understood that you are the observer, you are the witness, you are not the body and mind. तो जितना भी बॉडी और माइंड का पेन है वो आपको सफर नहीं करने, मतलब you will not suffer. The pain is going to be there, but you don't care for it. जिस तरह से जितने भी ग्रेट गुरुज रहे, जैसे रामकृष्ण परमहंस को थ्रोट कैंसर था, तो कई बार वो डेवोटीज के सामने ऐसे रोते थे कि हाय मेरे को कितना दर्द हो रहा है, मैं सोलो भी नहीं कर रहा, समथिंग लाइक दैट. But you know, one of his devotees, he was sitting and he was behaving like this, you know. So one of the disciples one told him, but Thakur, you appear to be very in bliss. And then Ramakrishna told him, you have caught me. So you see, he was playing this for a person who thinks I am the body. To see that the master is having cancer and is in pain is a different story. But a person who goes deeper knows that this guru is always in bliss. Why? Because he knows he is spirit, he is not the body. So हमारे लिए भी ये goals है, ये रास्ता है जहां हमने इवेंचुअली जाना है, और प्रॉमिस है इस रास्ते की, ये पेन्स आपके चले जाएंगे, यानी कि बॉडी और माइंड को कोई पेन होगा भी तो उससे आप बिल्कुल भी सफर नहीं करोगे, क्योंकि आप उससे स्टैंड बैक कर पाओगे. The third will be that we shall get full knowledge, that is omniscience will be ours. Wow, what a thought, isn't it? But omniscience is beyond thought. It is the substratum of all thoughts. So we will have to go to a point where we have to go beyond the mind. Beyond the mind, the existence is still there. We exist beyond the mind, and in that level, we know the thoughts of all men, past, present, and future. तो तब हम उस पॉइंट पे जा सकते हैं जब हम ओमनिशिएंट हो सकते हैं. फोर्थ, नेक्स्ट विल बी द फ्रीडम ऑफ द चित्ता. अब क्या होता है कि हमारी इमोशंस भी इन्वेस्टेड होती हैं हर चीज में, उसी के हम इमोशंस इन्वेस्टेड हैं, इसीलिए ये गेम ऑफ लाइफ है. अदरवाइज इमोशंस ही ना होती तो ये मैकेनिकल एक सिली सी चीज होती है और जिससे सब बोर होके विड्रॉ हो जाते हैं. सो इट्स बिकॉज द इमोशंस आर इन्वेस्टेड दैट दिस लाइफ इज एक्चुअली कलरफुल. ये मेला रंगीन इसीलिए ही है. So we shall realize that all difficulties and struggles have fallen away from us. एक लाइफ में ना सिंक्रोनिसिटी सी आने लगेगी कि अपने आप ही विदाउट ऑब्स्टिकल्स, विदाउट डिफिकल्टीज आपका रास्ता अपने आप बन रहा है. आप क्योंकि सहज होते जाते हो, आपने अपनी इमोशन से भी विड्रॉ कर लिया, आप थॉट से भी विड्रॉ कर लिया, आप इस दुनिया से अपने अंदर विड्रॉ करो. यू आर डूइंग द रोल प्ले बट इनसाइड यू आर विड्रॉन. सो काइंड ऑफ दिस इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड द फ्रीडम फ्रॉम चित्ता. 5. The next is that the chitta itself is realized and it will melt away. So you are not only free from the chitta, but the chitta or the mind stuff, जिसमें जो मन, बुद्धि, अहंकार, चित्ता, जो सारी चीजें हैं, ये अपने सोर्स में डिसॉल्व हो जाएंगी. एंड डिसॉल्व होने के बाद क्या होगा? ऑटोमेटिकली नेक्स्ट स्टेप चित्त वृत्ति निरोधा, मीन्स एवरीथिंग इज काम डाउन, एंड वंस all the movement of the absolute consciousness is calmed down. So all creation is what? Vibration in absolute stillness. So जब वो काम हो जाएगी तो अपने आप ही जो 7th step वो बता रहे हैं, we shall find that we are established in ourselves in the absolute consciousness, absolute stillness, and that we have been alone throughout the universe. So there is only one. इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि हम एक bored अकेले person हो जाएंगे. इसका मतलब ये है, being one in the universe, being alone in the universe is that only God exists, and that God is not separate from I. I am made of that God substance. Once I know my unity with God, इस चीज का कोई फायदा नहीं है कि मैं कहूँ कि भगवान तो बहुत अच्छे हैं, बहुत बड़े हैं, बहुत पावरफुल हैं, कमाल के हैं, he is a great creator, और उसमें इनमें इतनी सारी पावर्स हैं, लेकिन मैं एक बेचारा पुअर लिटिल थिंग हूँ जो कि इतना सफरिंग में हूँ. इसका क्या, ऐसी नॉलेज का क्या फायदा है? आपकी एक्चुअली प्रॉब्लम तो तभी सॉल्व होगी जब आप ये जानोगे कि भगवान ओमनी प्रेजेंट, ओमनीपोटेंट, ओमनीशिएंट है और मैं भी वही हूँ. तभी तो दुख दूर होगा, नहीं तो दुख दूर कैसे होगा? सिर्फ भगवान को ग्रेट मानना और अपने आप को तुच्छ मानने से तो दुख होगा ही नहीं दूर. तो अगर दुख दूर करना है तो इसी का यही सोल्यूशन है. यही डिस्क्रिमिनेशन से, भक्ति से, कर्म से या ज्ञान से हम यही एस्टैब्लिश करना चाहते हैं कि हम वी आर द चिल्ड्रन ऑफ गॉड, वी आर दैट लाइट. और जब हम ये रियलाइज करेंगे, जब हम वो लाइट बन जाएंगे, तो फिर सारी डार्कनेस खत्म है, सारी अविद्या खत्म है, सारी डिल्यूजन खत्म है, तो हम अपने आप ही वो ब्लिस बन जाएंगे. देन वी विल बिकम दैट. और यही सारी जो गेम है ये इसीलिए हम खेल रहे हैं, टू रियलाइज व्हाट वी आर. हम ऑलरेडी आत्मन है, हम ऑलरेडी ब्लिस है, हम ऑलरेडी विजडम है. बस ऊपर हमने कई सारे कपड़े पहने हुए हैं, बहुत सारे इमोशंस के, थॉट्स के, बॉडी के, पर्सनालिटी के, एंड ओपिनियंस के, एंड सो ऑन. वो सब छोड़ दीजिए. Come back to your pure essence. Your pure essence is love. Your pure essence is just simple existence. I am. That is why Jesus also said, I am that I am. इससे ज्यादा कहने की जरूरत नहीं है. श्री युक्तेश्वर जी क्या कहते थे कि जब आप मेडिटेटिव ब्लिस में इतने ज्यादा डूबते जाओगे, then all you can just say God, God, God. That's it. Because that is the only truth of the universe, the only substratum, the only changeless reality. And that reality is what we are also. जब जिस दिन हमें ये realize हो गया कि हम God substance हैं, उस दिन हमारे, then we have gained what is there to be gained. Then we have known what is there to know. And we have become that light. Okay. Okay, so now we'll just go through the 7 steps as given by Swami Kriyananda, because this will help us to revise these 7 stages, which we are all going to go through, and to some extent we have achieved, to some degree and some extent we have achieved them. Okay, so Swamiji says one's wisdom in the final stage is 7-fold, and these stages have been listed by Vedavyasa. So what are these? First, the seeker has no need to know anything more. So his dissatisfaction goes away, and he has known what is there to know in this world. Second, the cause of all suffering having been understood, the suffering itself is gradually eliminated. Third, attaining Savikalpa Samadhi, one eliminates every cause of suffering. Fourth, he attains complete discrimination, requiring no further effort in that direction. मतलब अभी आप नेति नेति कर रहे हैं बार बार कि नहीं मैं ये शरीर नहीं हूं, मैं ये माइंड नहीं हूं, मैं ये थॉट्स नहीं हूं, मैं इमोशन, पर जब एक पॉइंट पे आके ये डिस्क्रिमिनेटरी विजडम की नेति नेति की कोई जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ेगी. आप एस्टैब्लिश हो जाओगे ट्रुथ में, आपने ऑलरेडी जान लिया है जो आपको जानना था. फिफ्थ, सत्व गुना बिकम्स प्रिडोमिनेंट इन द माइंड. तो वहां पे स्वामी विवेकानंद ने भी बोला था कि जो चित्त है वो शुद्ध हो जाएगा, चित्त जो है वो शांत हो जाएगा. तो जब ये कैसे होगा? जब हमारे तमासिक और रजासिक गुण जो है वो सत्व में चेंज होते जाएंगे. जो लाइट है हमारे अंदर की लुमिनोसिटी है वो बढ़ती जाएगी, क्योंकि हमारा चित्त प्योर हो गया है. तो ये नेक्स्ट स्टेप आ जाएगी. देन the sixth, the 3 gunas fall away and the chitta becomes calm. That means we have reached the state of chitta vritti nirodha. And then finally, 7th step, only the absolute self, the Atman, the Paramatman, or the Brahman, that remains. So these are the scientific steps that have been given to us by the sage Patanjali. And similar things have been said in the Bhagavad Gita, and similar things in a different way have been said in the Ramayana and in many other scriptures. So with that thought, and especially with the thought of the bhakti of Shabri, and the invitation that we want to give to the Lord, how do we want to live our life? How clean do we want to keep our heart? And how much effort should we put into our spiritual practices? With that thought, let's take that message with us today and resolve to just be more steadfast, to do our practices more sincerely. And then we have to, the Lord has to come to us. You have to determine this today. And if you have that determination, the Lord is ever loving. He is like that parent who is willing to fulfill all the wishes of his child. So with that thought and the blessings that we have received, dear friends, let us share these vibrations with the whole world, all souls everywhere. Divine Mother, thou art omnipresent. Thou art in all thy children. Manifest thy healing presence in all bodies, all minds, and all souls. Oh. Oh. Divine Mother, may thy love shine forever on the sanctuary of our devotion, and may we be able to awaken thy love in all hearts. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.